Rizal lived in exile in faraway Dapitan from 1892 to 1896. Dapitan is a remote town in our very own place in Mindanao, which served as an outpost of the Spaniards in the Philippines. This 4-year interregnum in Rizal's life was tediously unexciting, but it was then abundantly fruitful with varied achievements. The following shows Rizal's multifarious activities during his stay in Dapitan. Rizal practiced medicine, pursued scientific studies, continued his artistic and literary works, widened his knowledge of languages, established a school for boys, and even promoted community development projects, invented a wooden machine for making bricks, and lastly engaged in farming and commerce. In all of his successful left and right projects in Dapitan, let's find out what's the reason why Rizal was sent to Dapitan. We can see that it has 4 reasons on why Rizal sent to Dapitan. And the first is because he published books and articles abroad that show disloyalty to Spain, anti-Catholic and anti-friar. Second is because he was accused that the noble El Filibusterismo was dedicated to the three priests, Comborza, ang paring Pilipino na pinaghinalaan na nagtraidor sa Spanish government. Third is that he was also believed to be an advocate of separation from Spanish, for El Fili contained an inscription written by Blumentritt stating that Filipino, there is no salvation except through separation from the mother country. For me, this refers to our country being colonized by Spain, and as a Filipino, for us to be free, we must leave our country. Last but not the least, he was sent to Dapitan because he was also charged for seeking to decatholicize Philippines. Now let's proceed to Rizal's important individuals while he's in Dapitan. First, we have Don Ricardo. Rizal lived with Don Ricardo Carcenero's house for him to oversee Rizal's activities. Rizal's admired the kind, generous Don Ricardo even though he is a Spanish captain. In return, Don Ricardo sent good reports regarding Rizal to Governor Despojo. Next, we have Josephine Bracken, the love of his life. Josephine Bracken and his stepfather George Taufir arrived at Dapitan on the 14th day of March 1894, searching for a cure for Mr. Taufir's blinding eye illness. Rizal fell in love with Josephine Bracken, which led to Rizal asking for her hand in marriage. They applied for marriage while in Dapitan. However, it was denied by Padre Obac unless Rizal was willing to retract his anti-friar views. Their love for each other bloomed and resulted to Josephine Bracken getting pregnant. However, it was born prematurely and died a few hours after birth. Family of Rizal wasn't really supportive, and in fact, they're ashamed Rizal's live-in relationship with Josephine. For them, it's considered a sin to live together without the blessings of marriage. But then, Josephine got married to Rizal few hours before his death at Bagumbayan on December 30, 1896. Josephine was only 20 years old during that time. Their marriage spiked a controversy about its authenticity since there was no legal document that testified to its occurrence. Third, Padre Baliger, one of the priests present when Rizal applied church ceremony for his marriage with Josephine. Only primary source regarding that events that occurred before Rizal's execution. According to Baliger, Rizal retracted his views against the church and the friars, confessed to his sins not only once but twice, attended a mass as well as took communion hours before his execution. He was also the only one that facilitated the wedding between Rizal and Josephine, supporting the claim of Josephine Bracken. Now let's proceed to Pio Valenzuela. Pio arrived at Dapitan on June 15, 1896. He was a member of Katipunan seeking advice from Rizal regarding to the upcoming revolution. However, according also to Pio, that Rizal opposed the armed rebellion for it was premature.
Revolution in Manila, 1896. So, Dr. Pio Valenzuela and Raimondo Mata, they visited Rizal in Dapitan to narrate him the founding of the Katipunan, and they have planned for the revolution. For a while, Rizal sent letters to the Governor General Ramon Blanco from 1894 to 1895. So, General Ramon Blanco wanted to be reviewed case, and Blumentritt proposed that Rizal offer his services as a surgeon to the Spanish government in Cuba to end his exile. When that time, Cuba was also a colony of Spain and was ravaged by a yellow fever epidemic. Rizal trial and death. On November 20, 1896, this is the time that Rizal's summon on the trial court was assigned by Judge Colonel Francisco Olive, an advocate of the Spanish military tribunal. Then the preliminary investigation was conducted. In a 5 days of investigation was conducted, Rizal was blamed for all the accusations that was a leader and founding the revolution because of the people's increasing ideas about the rebellions and making illegal organization. So Rizal has a people's accusation that he is a founding and leader of the revolutions. That's all. Thank you.
Rizal cited 12 points to prove his innocence. First, Rizal was against rebellion as testified by Pio Valenzuela. Second, no letter consisting the revolutionary elements was addressed to the Katipunan was written. Third, without his consent, the Katipunan used his name as one of the passwords. Fourth, if he was guilty, he could have left the country while in exile. He would not have built a home and would not have bought a parcel of land to put up a hospital in Dapitan. Fifth, the revolutionists could have consulted him if he was the leader. Sixth, he did not deny that he wrote the bylaws of the La Liga Filipina. But to make things clear, it is a different organization from Katipunan, the former being civic accusation and the latter is being a revolutionary society. 7. After the first meeting of the Liga, the association vanished because of his exile in Dapitan, and it did not last long. 8. He had no idea that Liga was reorganized 9 months after. 9. If the Liga had revolutionary purpose, then Katipunan should not have been founded. 10. If the Spanish authorities found his letter offending, it was because in 1890, his family was persecuted. 11. He lived a good life in Dapitan. The politico-military commander and missionary priest in the province could attest to it. And for the 12 point, the witness said that if the speech delivered Doroteo Onchonco's house had inspired the revolution, he should have been given a chance to confront these persons. If he was in the revolution, the Katipunan should not have sent an unfamiliar emissary to him in Dapitan. For this, his friend knew that he never promoted violence.
Rizal's remaining days and the last farewell. When Rizal heard the court decision, He knew that there will be no chance of changing his fate. At 6 o'clock in the morning of December 29, 1896, Captain Rafael Dominguez read him the official notice of his execution. Rizal spent his last hours by going to the prison chapel. His mother and sisters visited him on the same day. He then gave them his remaining possessions, reached out for the gas lamp, and gave it to his sister Trinidad and carefully whispered, "There is something inside." Then Trinidad and his sister Maria got a copy of Rizal's last poem from the lamp. Unfortunately, it was said that on his last days that Rizal was not allowed to embrace his mother. He took time to write his last letter to his best friend, Blumentritt. The last poem he composed was the longest he ever written. It was entitled Mi Ultimo Adios, or in English, My Last Farewell. I won't recite the poem. You can browse it online instead. It was written one night before his execution in Luneta Park in Fort Santiago. That is why the poem, which literally means My Last Goodbye, is entitled Mi Ultimo Adios because of the given social condition. This popular literary piece was written in which he experienced slavery, cruelty, and aggression against his beloved fellow men. Rizal expresses his wish to die for his motherland and bids farewell to his beloved ones, his homeland, and all the people he cared for. This wisdom and insight of Rizal upon writing his last poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, is mirrored in the present on many ages. His love for the nation and many activists is still formed today to fight for our country, to have freedom of speech and criticism. We are fighting for our country, just as Rizal and many national heroes are fighting for our country. Wearing a black suit, black pants, black bowler hat, and white shirt with his arms tied behind his back, Rizal walked to Bagong Bayan at 6:30 in the morning of December 30, 1896. He walked along with his defense lawyer, Andrade, and two Jesuit priests, March and Villa Clara. When the command had been given, the executioner's guns barked at once. Rizal yelled Christ's words, "Consummatum est." In English, it is finished. Simultaneously with his final effort to twist his bullet-pierced body half around to face his executioners and fell on his back to face the Philippine sun.
What is the last farewell of Jose Rizal? Mi Ultimo Adios. Mi Ultimo Adios was Rizal's poetic tribute, his last farewell to the country he loved so much. Rizal died without seeing the dawn of a new day, yet he did see the dawning of a new democracy in our country. It was his last farewell, a farewell of an old system to tyranny and to oppression. When was the last farewell written by Jose Rizal? December 29, 1896. Tradition has it that Jose Rizal wrote his undated and untitled valedictory poem we all know as Mi Ultimo Adios on December 29, 1896, the eve of his execution. What is the importance of My Last Farewell by Jose Rizal? Rizal's Mi Ultimo Adios has huge impact on the masses, not only to the Philippines but also to different countries around the world. It became an inspirational speech to some nations declaring for independence or equal rights for the countries or people. Who received the last farewell poem of Rizal? Mariano Dacanay, who received a copy of poem while he was a prisoner in Bilibid jail, published it in the first issue of La Independencia on September 25, 1898, with the title Ultimo Adios. What is the dominant mood of the poem My Last Farewell? Mood is the term used for the mood left by the reader in work of literature. The mood of Rizal's poem My Last Farewell is rather wistful and sad, the voice of a person dying for his beloved homeland. How did this poem, My Last Farewell, influence the Filipino way of life? In 1902, the poem was recited before the American House of Representatives. The poem revealed the nobility of the author and forever changed how Americans looked at Filipinos during American occupation, resulting to the passing of Philippine Bill of 1902. This is the moral lesson of My Last Farewell by Jose Rizal. In this poem, he showed that after a hardship and sacrifices, we will meet freedom. Being a hero is not having a power like invisible, lightning, etc. A hero is a person who fights for his or her family, friends, and loved ones.